Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV, where we are currently in the Phantom Realm, the area of the gods, and just did our first alliance raid here against 4 of the 12. Kyle, what's up? A divine dilemma. Greetings, I'm Kyle of the Students of Bardessian. Do you have the pleasure of addressing Derek, the explorer who sought aid in investigating this place? I am Derek, and this here is a baby Oppo Oppo. Uh-oh. Yes, I can see that. Doesn't it have a name? None that I know of. Nor would I presume to bestow one, for that would be condescending. I see. That's very considerate of you. So I understand you explored the various Phantom Realms with Derek. Will you recount to me the experience? So run the raid again? So the gods tested you sorely. You did not sense any malicious intent. As Bygert said, they wish to do battle with us. Yet it seems they do not necessarily wish to cause us harm. Though much and more about this perplexes us, perhaps it is safe to assume that they are not primals. As you may recall, Living Ray once told us that the art of summoning as taught by the Ascians incorporates a fervent desire to assimilate others into one's belief. Thus do the resultant primals seek to enthrall worshippers, who in turn seek to grow their ranks. But these beings appear to harbor no such desire. If they are primals, then they are unlike those that have been summoned in recent memory. We might suppose that they were created in antiquity in a like manner to Hydaelyn, but there's no way to prove it. Who could they possibly be, and why do they desire battle with man? Even of your little Eorzea, you know precious little. The true identities of a 12, for instance. Animate sulk, you old tease. Emet did say that, didn't he? By which you may assume he knew the truth and challenged you to seek it out too. Suffice it to say, you'll do so, of course. Of course. Insofar as we can ascertain, this is a matter which has implications for the entire star. In light of this, the students of Bardessian formally accept the commission. We will investigate the Phantom Realm and the beings who call themselves the 12. 'Tis a pleasure to hear that. Thank you. Without further ado then, I will take a look around. There are a few things I'm curious about. Then with your permission, I will take myself around Eorzea and investigate the worship of those gods we encountered. Desiree, Derek, seeing as you've already seen this place, would you care to accompany me? By all means, in which case... Could you stay here with Kyle, my friend? Wouldn't do to leave a fair maiden alone. Oh! I shall be glad for the company. Take care then, and good luck. Shall we ask Gratia about his plan? Raha has also shared his observations with me. Keeping your combined account in mind, I shall see what else I can learn here. Oh. So, to explain my plan. It is believed that the 12 were already worshipped during the 3rd Astral Era, when the Allagan Empire flourished. Come the 5th Astral Era, these nations who fought in the War of the Magi each took one of the 12 as a guardian deity. This practice has continued to the present day in Eorzea, with some notable regional differences. For instance, Ishgardians hold Halone as absolute, Marshalians enjoy a moderate relationship with Thaliak. By visiting various locations in Eorzea and learning about the 12 as they are worshipped, I hope to identify any similarities or differences between them and the beings we encountered. In so doing, I believe we will draw close to the truth of their identities. For our first destination, I propose we take ourselves to Rhalga's Reach. The place is holy ground for worshippers of a destroyer and promises to yield useful details. Can I just teleport out of here? I can. And the statue we fought Rhalga on was the same as this statue of Rhalga. There you are, Desiree. This place served as a base of operations for your investigation into Omega, did it not? How delightful to be here together. If you don't mind my making an observation, it seems you enjoy traveling with company. I do. It's something I've dreamed of for a long time. I enjoy company, but sometimes I prefer my own. Is that so? What of yourself? Do you normally travel alone? In my wanderings, I much prefer to have solitude. Not that I avoid people or communities, mind you. As a matter of fact, I've been here before on the trail of a Phantom Realm. Now that I think on it, more often than not, those places where Phantom Realm sightings are known to occur have a tradition of 12 worship. And I dare hope we are on the right track. As I'm sure you know, Rhalga's Reach is home to the Temple of a Fist, the ancient headquarters of a Fist of Rhalga. Raised by the Mad King Theodoric, the temple lay abandoned before the Alamegan resistance claimed it for its operations. While I doubt that much literature has survived over the years, the people here may possess some knowledge of a local faith. So let's split up and make inquiries and reconvene here afterwards to share findings. Bloodstorm. You read the words inscribed on the monument. A storm of blood approaches fast, hell's open heavens weep, for no one soul doth lie beyond the measure of his reach. Once upon a time, Lise explained to you their meaning, that we must prepare ourselves for the strife and sorrow that will inevitably come. Learn anything, Wasfer? Oh, that isn't Desiree. Is this man perchance a friend of yours? When he last visited, he shared with me the tales he heard on his journeys, and what amazing tales there were. If you have time, I'd love to hear both of your stories. Alas, we are in some haste. We're investigating the worship of Rhalga and seek literature on the subject. Religious texts and the like. Can any still be found here? Just about all of it is gone, sadly, destroyed by the Empire, if not the Mad King before that. We haven't lost everything. The mighty image of a destroyer, the tales we shared at the campfire, like the legend of our nation's founding. We still have these things, and they are a source of great comfort and strength to us in our darkest moments. I see. If you don't mind, I would be obliged to hear your stories this time. Desiree, rest assured I have this well in hand. Feel free to carry on as you will. scholarly woman. Yes, if you have business, please make it quick. I'm due to meet with someone any moment now. Forgive me my delay. Why, if it isn't the adventurer who kindly escorted me to the Temple of a Fist, are you studying monks too, perchance? If so, you ought to work together with me and my colleague here. Few things are finer than joining hands with like-minded folk. I'm investigating the faith of Valga. Researching the worship of a destroyer, you say? Why didn't you mention sooner? This is a copy of Destructivity, a scripture of a Fist of Valga. The original is one of the few texts that survived the temple's razing. It was recovered by a monk named Widergeld. I went to the trouble of having this made for my colleague, only for her to say she doesn't need it. So I offer it to you instead. Lest you forget, this is your passion, not mine. I'm simply assisting you as a favor. But I thank you not to put us in danger. Ah, but danger is the crucible in which the monks temper body and mind. Ah, so sublime. Monks. Well, we best return to our work. Till next time, adventurer. Yeah. She was the quest giver for the Temple of a Fist dungeon. And she, of course, had the mention of Widergeld, the monk teacher. Because as a monk, you joined the Fist of Valga, the order that used to reside here. So where are the others? Well, Derek? Desiree, what were you able to learn? Well, Lise told me her story, and I got a book. A copy of one of the scriptures, you say? A moment while I skim over it. I see. This chapter appears to be a record of the construction of a great image of Relga, written in a style that suggests folklore was committed to parchment. And with the deluge of a sixth umbral calamity threatened Eorzea, the ancestors of the Alamegans were guided to safety by a comet. Believing that it was sent by Relga, they came to hold him in the highest. It's much of a tale I've been familiar with, but according to scripture, among those refugees who followed the comet, some claim to have caught sight of Relga himself. Their accounts were passed down through the centuries, and worshippers of the destroyer pieced them together to give shape to yonder statue. I must say it bears more than a passing resemblance to the being we encountered. Were that Relga a primal, the explanation for the similarities would be simple. That is, the statue gives rise to an unified interpretation of Relga's appearance, which in turn lends form to the primal. However, this fails to account for what inspired the likeness in the first place. If the scripture is to be believed, it was the sightings during the sixth umbral calamity. Yet for those witnesses to be able to recognize Relga, they would have needed an agreed-upon idea of his appearance beforehand. If we then consider that history of 12 worship, and that it already existed in the third astral era, it would not be ridiculous to think that these divinities existed even prior to that. So the question is, did these beings give rise to their respective faiths, or are there primals born of them?
I thought we had made it clear. We are not summoned beings. times immemorial, our domains have lain scattered across Eorzea. As a matter of fact, one of those in which she set foot is nearby. It is not unusual for mortals to glimpse us.
That voice, could there be...
Indeed, I am by a god who walked beside me is Welga. I shall elaborate on my master's explanation. We must disguise ourselves when we wish to observe a world without, for being seen in our true forms would violate our laws of conduct. Yet though we similarly disguise our sanctums, veiling them an illusion, whence are known to manifest when the surrounding aether is unstable. In such a time, should a gifted mortal chance to be near, they may inadvertently catch sight of us.
Of course, during an Umbral calamity, etheric imbalances occur on a star-wide scale, the ideal conditions for seeing the Phantom Realm.
Precisely how many times we have been seeing we ourselves have no way of knowing, but that is a sound assumption to make. Well, I believe as much shall suffice by way of an apology for our deception, shall we? Indeed, this is all we are at liberty to reveal. Fare you well, children of man.
Aside from a reticence that concerns the identity and objective, these divinities are certainly approachable. If what was said was true, and their worship can be traced back to their sightings, it would serve to explain one thing. According to my research in the field of comparative mythology, Welga is often observed to bear many similarities with Ramu. Assuming both were inspired by the Welga of the Phantom Realm, their divergence may be attributed to difference in culture between man and sylph. So you believe they gave rise to the prevailing faiths of Eorzea? Given available evidence, yes, I'm inclined to. Yet none of this explained their presence. How and when did beings of such power come into existence? Oh, 'tis you, Kryl. Has something happened? Truly? Very well, I shall take care of it. Kryl has recruited an acquaintance to aid in our investigation, an authority on mythology. I must go and receive her at the Sunken Temple of Khan, where she's currently conducting field work, after a brief detour to prepare a little something. Conveniently, Falanan is home to countless adherents to Naltfal. While I tend to business, may I ask the two of you to make increase in Ulda? Very well. Excellent, I will join you as soon as I'm able. By your leave. What can you say? So it's to be just you and me and Ulda. I suppose it can't be helped? What strange manner for one who proposed the survey to so promptly abandon it. I'll not lie, I'm not given to working one-on-one with another, but I suppose I agreed to this arrangement. Well, we'd best be on our way. As I recall, Milvaner's Sacrarium is still closed for construction, but let's try luck at Azaneth or Saria. You have no objection to traveling separately, I trust? Good. I shall see you in Ulda. See you then. No, Milvaneth's Sacrarium is the place where the Blue Mage Trainer and the Black Mage Trainer Lalai were. And also the Calamity Salvager. And it was always closed throughout this game. No idea what's behind those doors. But we go to Azoneth Ossuary, the Thaumaturgist Guild. Ah, you're here. Of the deific twins, Naltfal, here they worship Fal, who keeps the realm of the dead and weighs the worth of man's souls. In contrast, Nalt keeps the world of the living and oversees their financial fortunes. Their names are borne by many a location and religious organization, some extremely wealthy and powerful, exist to nurture faith in them. On the surface, it may seem strange that a hub of commerce such as Ul'dah could be home to such spiritual people, but it's actually quite logical when one considers that their religion is, in essence, commerce. In any event, Naltfal is a truly unusual divinity. What was originally held to be one god came to be worshipped as twins. Indeed, rather than two distinct entities, that which we encountered was a single being possessed of two personalities. Did I mishear? Did he just say they encountered Naltfal? And while his appearance differs somewhat to the divinities worshipped, it cannot be denied that there are striking similarities in their nature. We're starting to attract attention. Forgive me, this is hardly a praise for such a conversation. Let's continue it elsewhere. This was careless of me to openly speak of our encounter with a divinity within a place where he is worshipped. Hereon, I shall exercise greater caution. I thank you for alerting me to my indiscretion and ask that you keep it between us. Now then, to finish our conversation, as I mentioned, whether Naltfal is worshipped by men appears somewhat different, there are undeniable similarities in their nature. I believe we may report this much to Grad here. With that, our work here is done. Rather than waiting for our companion to arrive, perhaps we might seek him out at the Sunken Temple? He mentioned needing to make a detour. Were we to set out now, we ought to be able to catch up to him. After all, we hardly know one another. Rather than loiter with an unfamiliar person, it's better to use our time productively. Wouldn't you agree? Sure. Then let us head to the Sunken Temple of Khan at once. Are you alright? If you hear me, please say something. Yeah, thank goodness. I found this woman collapsed. Well, I can see no obvious injuries. By her attire, she appears to be some manner of scholar. Water. Foot. My bag, please. I see. Does it may I trouble you to find her bag? I will send a lookout in the meantime. There. Examining the bag, you find a skin with little water left, but there appears to be no provender. Why don't you decide to take the water? thirsty, so hungry. Nigh empty water skin. Even an incurable optimist would feel compelled to say that this water skin is nearly empty. Not enough. Food. I need food. There was nothing in the bag. I have not saved red meat, tough as leather. Do you have anything easier to consume? That's right, Derek. What are you doing here? Actually, that can wait. Steady, Snow Game. I've brought you Archon loaf and coffee. Made sweet and creamy, just as you like it. I'm reborn, washed down with a sweet beverage where life-giving nutritions of Archon loaf permeate my being from head to toe. Thank you, kind stranger. However you knew my preferred source of sustenance, you are truly a godsend. Oh, it's you, Ra. What brings you here? I don't recall mentioning my fieldwork. It's for my research into the Belladian worship of Azima, you see. Haven't you heard of Kryl? The students are presently investigating the 12, and we would prevail upon your expertise. May I introduce Snow Game, expert mythologist. She's a collaborator of the students, and like many Ashalian scholar, is passionate about her endeavors to the point of forgetting to eat. Seeing as she's recovered, may I ask the two of you to tell her about the Phantom Realm? The 12 are biting the Phantom Realm and exchanged not only words with them, but blows besides? Incredible. And the description of a domain, a thunderous tower in one and a sweltering city in another, are precisely the heavens of lightning and fire are depicted in legend. In ancient times, worshippers of the 12 believed there exist 7 heavens and 7 hells. Astrology has since established that departed souls return to the ethereal sea. But it seems those afterlife domains were more than just inventions of mortal imagination. As a pursuer of myths, I must say it feels somewhat anticlimactic to suddenly have these revelations given to me. But more than that, I'm dying to know more. Which is to say, please allow me to join your investigation. We would of course welcome your presence. Without further ado then, let's head to the Omphalos. Kryl awaits us there. Kryl, we're back. Welcome back, everyone, and welcome Snow Game. I'm glad you could join us. Kryl, how delightful to see you again, and I think you've been doing a fine job leading the students. But I must say, what a lovely place this is. At a glance, it appears to be the highest of the heavens of legend, the 7th heaven. And oh, if those aren't symbols representing the other heavens, I take it those are their respective gateways? I should like to pay them a visit. For Snow Game's benefit, let us review what we have learned thus far, and then deliberate the next step. The gods reappeared before us in Valga's Reach, or were disguised as unassuming creatures where laws forbid them from showing their true forms outside their realm. Yet in the event the ambient aether becomes unstable, such during an unworld calamity, it's possible for the realm, and indeed the gods themselves, to be glimpsed by mortals. And such sightings, we believe, have given rise to the various faiths practiced throughout Eorzea. As we confirmed in Ul'dah, the Nulthal worshipped by people and the Nulthal we encountered here have more similarities than they do differences. In the course of exploring Omphalos, two things caught my attention. The first is the gate which lies in the innermost area. If each of the other 6 gates leads to an elementally aspected heaven, and we stand in the 7th heaven as Snowgame says, then what lies beyond that last gate? The second is this monument. It harbors some manner of magic, unlike anything I've seen before. I will endeavor to decipher it, but it will take time. Divinities that have existed since times immemorial who abide in domains resembling the heavens of legend. Why have they chosen to reveal themselves to mortals seeking battle? Unless they favor us with more of their secrets, it would seem this monument also key to solving the mystery. Indeed, much and more yet lies beyond our understanding, but we keep chasing the truth together. As I'm sure you agree though, this is tiring work, both mentally and physically. We need to pace ourselves. To which end I would suggest we return to Revenant's Toll and have a rest before we embark on the next stage of our investigation. Snowgame can't wait. So rarely do I get to simply chat with colleagues. I'd fairly forgotten what it felt like. Indeed, it is quite fitting that we should be doing so here at the 7th Heaven. Fitting? That's an understatement if I've ever heard one. The 7th and highest of the heaven, which rules over the remaining 6, was right here in Madonna all this time. This isn't fitting, my friends, it's destiny. Passionate about her work. You're obviously well versed in the myths surrounding the heavens and hells. If you don't mind, I should like to hear your thoughts on them. Invested as they are in my research, it doesn't take much to stoke their passion. My apologies if it makes you uncomfortable. Having always traveled alone, I'm admittedly not too familiar with such a lively atmosphere. But I do not mislike it. By the way, the two of you arrived at the sunken temple rather quickly. Did something happen? Not really. Well, as pleasant as it has been, it's past time we return to the annex. The paperwork for this commission isn't going to complete itself, alas. Then I shall take myself to the Omphalos. There's so much more I'd like to see. And I I believe I will go for a walk nearby. It's getting a little warm in here. Alright, do take care now. Oh, there's a way. It's pleasant, isn't it? The smells and sounds of a tavern. It makes one feel alive. And afterwards, stepping outside alone and breathing the cool air, I like that just as much. While we await developments, I shall remain here in Revenant's Toll. If there are any tidings, rest assured I will share them with you. Thank you for your help thus far. I doubt so much could have been accomplished without you. And that would be the end of a 6.1 part of the Alliance Raid questline. We continue with another time, and I say until next time, when we play more Final Fantasy XIV. I'm Mace, and don't get lost.